Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio today. So glad you've decided to join me. This is your home for organic Bible study, free of MSG. So today we're looking at verses 12 through 15. 12 through 15 begins the second section. Now remember, the beginning of the week I said this psalm is in two parts, 1 through 11, 12 through 23. 1 through 11 is the prayer for vengeance, for God to come and judge. Take care of these wicked that are afflicting your heritage, O Lord. 12 through 23 is the answer to that. It's the call and response. This is the reply. So the people would reply what we have here in 12 through 23, and it begins with verse 12, blessed is the man. Now, where have we seen that before? Well, that comes straight out of the Psalter. The very first thing we have in the book of the Psalms is Psalm 1, verse 1, blessed is the man. So we've seen that statement, blessed is, 11 times up to this point. 11 times we've heard, blessed is the man, or blessed are the people, or blessed is the nation that, and then something is described. And usually it's blessed is the man that follows the Lord, or blessed is the man that has the Lord as his guide, or something that has to do with relationship. We come to Psalm 94, and what we have here is something that I don't think any of us would have expected. And we might even say it's not really much of a blessing, and that is chastening. Blessed is the man whom thou chasteneth, O Lord. Oh, I don't want that kind of blessing, do you? I don't think any of us do. But understand that this kind of chastening is needful for us, and it teaches us. Notice the next phrase there, and teacheth him out of thy law. The blessing comes because chastening happens. And do you notice that there's a comparison contrast here? There's chastening that happens to the wicked, because up there in verse 10, he that chasteneth the heathen, shall he not correct? So there's going to be vengeance or judgment that comes on the wicked, and that's considered chastening. But then there's chastening that happens for the blessed, for those that are following the Lord, so that they might further understand the law of God. And the result is, in verse 13, that thou mayest give him rest from the days of adversity, until the pit be digged for the wicked. So there's a Sabbath rest that waits for the people of God, but it comes through chastening. And of course, that lines up with the Scriptures so well. We understand that nothing really good comes to us unless we walk through that valley of the shadow of death, just like David talks about in Psalm 23, just like John Bunyan wrote in Pilgrim's Progress. He had to travel through that valley of the shadow of death. We all do. Well, there's that chastening that happens, that comes from the Lord, that gives us a peace that only chastening can deliver. Well, let me read verses 14 and 15 as well. For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Notice verse 14 is an answer to verses 3 through 6. The wicked are triumphing in verse 3. How long shall they utter hard things? And then verse 5 says, they break in pieces thy people and afflict thine heritage. Notice the language there in 14. The Lord will not forsake his heritage. So even though the wicked are breaking and afflicting the heritage of the Lord, which is his people, the Lord's not going to forsake them. So even in the midst of what seems like utter destruction, God has not forsaken you. He has not forgotten about you. Judgment shall return unto righteousness. So judgment is coming. Righteousness is going to rule the day. There is coming a day when all the upright in heart shall follow after the Lord. And there's going to be a reconciliation of all the wicked and the iniquity that's gone on before. That will be set right, and the Lord will have his day, and his people will be spared. Okay, I hope you'll join me again tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.